Humans gets exposed to various insecticides because insecticides are extensively applied in our foodstuffs in the fields, etc. So insecticides can enter the human system through food, through drinking water, and through hand to mouth transfer. Therefore, it becomes necessary to determine the maximum amount of insecticide that can be ingested on daily basis to protect the human health. That is why we need to calculate acceptable daily intake. The unit of acceptable daily intake for any insecticide is represented as milligram of milligram per kilogram of body weight per day or milligram per kilogram of body weight. The acceptable daily intake is normally derived from the lowest no observed adverse effect level, that is the level or the concentration of insecticide that will have no adverse impact on human health or the health of test organism during the long term in vivo studies. The acceptable daily intake is calculated by applying a safety or uncertainty factor, which is commonly or usually 100 to the NOEL obtained from the most sensitive test species. The 100-fold safety factor is based on the need to take account both differences in species and differences in toxicokinetics and toxicodynamics of species to humans. So ADI can be represented as NOAEL divided by 100. Let's understand the concept of ADI with this simple example. Let's assume that we have obtained the following result for a insecticide from long term in vivo animal toxicological studies. In this study, we got to know the reproductive toxicity for rat. The NOAEL is 50 mg per kg of body weight per day. The chronic toxicity for rat, the NOAEL is 30 mg per kg of body weight per day, and for carcinogenicity in mice, the NOAEL is 10 milligram per kg of body weight per day. Then ADI can be calculated as follows. From the above three obtained NOAEL, the NOAEL selected was the most sensitive test species, that is 10 milligram of body weight per day. So the acceptable daily intake can be 60 mg per kg of body weight per day, that is 0.1 mg per kg of body weight per day. In human context, we can understand it like that. If a person having 60 kg of body weight and it takes less than 6 mg of insecticide per day, there should be no risk on his or her health, although it is not true in all the cases. Most of the pesticides are insoluble in water, and moreover it is not possible to apply small amount of pesticide for the control of a larger area. That is why most of the insecticides are sold as insecticide formulations. An insecticide formulation is the final product that is offered for sale. An insecticide formulation comprises of an active ingredient that is responsible for the insecticidal activity. Adjuvants are the substances which assist its dissolution in water and improve its storage, handling and application properties. This module will help you to recognize formulation technology in general, common insecticide formulations and their advantages and disadvantages, and to understand the role of adjuvants. Adjuvants are the additives used in a tank mix to assist with activity on the plant or insect, or added to assist the performance of the mixture. So, among different adjuvants, surfactants are the most important. Surfactants are a group of adjuvants that affect the surface tension and surface activity of the spray. Surfactants are the substances which allow non-water soluble insecticides to get mixed with water. Apart from that, there are wetting agents, spreaders, emulsifiers, stickers, extenders, etc. Wetting agents helps a powder to get wet easily. Spreaders helps to reduce the surface tension so that the insecticide can get better coverage and better penetration. Apart from that, to achieve optimum pH, buffers can be used. Defoaming agents are used to avoid the foaming during the mixing, so that the accuracy while adding insecticide with water can be the highest. Then colorants and dyes are also added in certain formulations, especially in the seed coating formulations, so that one can easily identify the insecticide treated seeds from the normal seeds. Then thickeners are also added to achieve the optimum viscosity. Then the question arises, why we formulate? What are the objectives of insecticide formulation? The first and foremost objective is dosage. As we know, the recommended dose of any insecticide ranged between 50 gram to 500 gram depending upon the type of insect. So it is very difficult to apply 50 gram of insecticide in whole field. That is why insecticides are generally diluted before use, and for their dilution in water they need adjuvants. So that is why to achieve proper dosage, insecticides are generally formulated. Then the coverage, as I told you, it is not possible to apply a small quantity of insecticide throughout the field uniformly. That is why to achieve optimum coverage, insecticides are formulated. Then mass and momentum. If the particle size is very slow, drift hazards may be there and off target delivery may be there. And if the droplet size is very big, then the penetration and the efficacy may be less. That is why. Then the need based product, to control different types of insect pest, we need different types of products. Suppose for control of cockroach we need different type of insecticide formulation, and to control housefly or mosquito we need different type of formulation. So depending upon the type of insect to be controlled, insecticides are formulated in different ways. Then the economic and safe use. So while formulating any insecticide, the safety of applicator is of paramount importance. So pest insecticide formulations are generally formulated to keep in view that the applicator will remain safe while application of insecticide. There are many ways to classify in insecticide formulations. Insecticide formulations can be classified on the basis of advancement of technology. In this, the insecticidal formulations are classified as conventional formulations, which are associated with dustiness and the use of volatile organic solvents. These include emulsifiable concentrates, wettable powders and dusts. And the new generation formulations are generally dust free and are water based. These include microemulsion and water dispersible granules. Then the most common mode of classification of insecticide formulation is on the basis of their physical state. In this, formulations can be classified as solid formulations, liquid formulations, or gaseous formulations. Among solid formulations, these exist in solid physical state. These include water dispersible granules, wettable powders, and simple granules, and dusts also. Among liquid formulations, these exist in liquid and generally diluted before use. These include emulsifiable concentrate, suspension concentrate, and microemulsion, and oil in water emulsion. Then comes the gaseous formulations also. These includes aerosols, etc. Now we will discuss some common formulations. Among solid formulation, the one of the most common formulation is dust. Dust are manufactured by this absorption of an active ingredient onto a finely ground inert carrier like talc, clay, or chalk. They are relatively easy to use because no mixing is required, and the application equipment they are generally lightweight and simple. Dusts can provide excellent coverage, but the small particle size is their disadvantage and causing inhalation and drift hazards. Granules represent another ready to use type solid formulation of insecticide. The manufacture of granular formulations is somewhat similar to that of dusts. One exception is there, that the active ingredient is absorbed onto larger particles. The inert material used for the preparation of granular products can be clay, sand, or plant material depending upon the type and availability of inert materials. A granule is defined by its size. The granular product should pass through 4 mesh sieve, but it should be retained on a 80 mesh sieve. Here the mesh size represent the number of wires per inch. Granules are applied dry and usually are intended for soil applications. The larger particles of granules in comparison to dusts make them potentially dust free, and therefore causing less inhalation hazard and less off target deliveries. The primary drawback associated with granules is their difficulty they are posing in achieving uniform application. Pellets represent another ready to use solid insecticide formulations. Pellets are very similar to granules in preparation, but their manufacture process is somewhat different. Here the active ingredient is combined with inert material to form a thick slurry. The slurry is then extruded under pressure through a die and cut in desired shapes and sizes as per the requirement. Pellets are typically used in spot applications. Pelleted formulations provide high degree of safety to the applicator as they are dust free, and the chances of penetration through skin are less. Wettable powders are concentrated dusts containing a wetting agent to facilitate the mixing of powder with water before spraying. The technical material is added to an inert diluent such as talc or fine clay in addition to a wetting agent or surfactant and mixed thoroughly in a ball mill. Without the wetting agent, the powder will float when added to water and the two phase will not easily mix. Because wettable powder contain 50 to 75% talc or clay, they tend to settle rather quickly to the bottom of the spray tank unless the mixture is agitated constantly. There are certain advantages of wettable powders. These include They do not damage the material or places that are sensitive to organic solvents. They do not dissolve washers and rubber hoses in spray machine or spray tanks. They are not phytotoxic when sprayed on foliage even at high concentration, in contrast to the oil containing sprays. There are certain disadvantages with wettable powders. These include they can corrode valves, nozzles and pumps in sprays, and they require frequent and constant agitations. Water dispersible granules are a type of insecticide formulation in granular form which disintegrates and disperses quickly upon dilution in water and generally used after dilution in water. The granular product has distinct particles with variable size in the range of 0.2 to 4 mm. They are popularly known as dry flowables. They are comparatively newer formulation and are being considered as safer, user-friendly and commercially attractive alternative to wettable powder and suspension concentrate formulations. They are almost similar to wettable powders, except that instead of being dusty, they are formulated as small, easily measurable granules. Time taken for dispersion in the water is of prime importance and need proper assurance in this regard. It is essential for all the granules in water dispersible granule to disperse uniformly and completely within 2 minutes at varying degree of water temperature and hardness. A suspension concentrate formulation is a stable suspension of active ingredient in a fluid which is intended for dilution with water before use. The manufacture of suspension concentrate is somewhat resembling the wettable powder. It has one exception, that powder dispersing agent, wetting agents are mixed with water before packing. Suspension concentrate formulations require further dilution with water before their use. Suspension concentrate formulations are applied as sprays with all the advantages of wettable powder. The benefit of formulation is that there is no inhalation hazard towards the applicator during mixing, and suspension concentrate formulations usually do not require constant agitation during application because of their extremely small size of the suspended particles. Emulsifiable concentrates are the liquid formulations which require further dilution before their application. Emulsifiable concentrates are solution of active ingredient in an appropriate organic solvent with enough emulsifier added to allow the concentrate to mix readily with water for spraying. When an emulsifiable concentrate is added to water, the emulsifier causes the oil droplets to disperse uniformly throughout the water phase, giving an opaque or milky appearance when agitated. If properly formulated, emulsifiable concentrate remains soluble without further agitation for several days. Emulsifiable concentrates are not abrasive to application instruments, nor they plug screens and strainers. Emulsifiable concentrates have several disadvantages associated with them. They possess dermal hazard to applicator and may cause phytotoxicity to plants. They can cause the deterioration of rubber and plastic parts of the equipment. Controlled release formulations are the formulations where the rate of release of active ingredient is controlled by providing a physical barrier between pesticide and environment with an aim to increase pest control efficiency while vastly decreasing the quantity of toxic material added to the environment. As they provide chemical control for longer duration with less amount of insecticides, they help in saving money as well as the environment. The conventional applications give high initial dose which rapidly falls below the effective level, as we can see in figure with the blue line, while controlled release formulation can maintain an effective level for longer durations and provide the insect management for longer duration with less amount of insecticides. The release pattern of controlled release insecticide is given with the green color line. Here the red color line is the minimum effective concentration of insecticide required for optimum control. The CRFs have revolutionized the formulation technology, but still this technology is in its starting phase only. Now the question arises, why we need new generation formulations? I think this slide will answer the question. Characteristics of conventional formulations involved dustiness and the use of volatile organic solvents, leading to significant trend towards user and environment friendly water based and dust free formulations. These formulations not only replace toxic ingredients or adjuvants of the conventional formulation, but also increase the bioefficacy of the product through size reduction, as in case of wettable powder to suspension concentrate and soluble concentrate to microemulsion formulation. They increase the coverage of applied surface area, as in case of nano formulations. They reduce the wastage of insecticide and reduce the overall environmental load of insecticides, for example controlled release formulations. Then what are the issues to be addressed in new generation formulations? Then first is the safety in manufacture. Safety is of prime importance, whether it is during manufacture, whether it is during transport, whether it is during application. Then safety to the applicator, as applicator is most prone to the overall exposure of insecticide. So the safety of applicator and non-target organisms is of utmost importance while developing new generation formulations. Then ease of package disposal problems. So package disposal is a big task, because if not disposed properly, it may result in accidental exposure. So new generation formulations are developed in such a way that the packets have minimum amount of active ingredient or toxicant remain attached with them. Then reduction is in dose. New generation formulation, there is a try that insect pest management can be done with the minimum amount of active ingredient. That is why controlled release formulations are being developed. Then formulation costs. To reduce the cost of insect pest management for household and agricultural pests, the formulation costs should be kept at the minimum level. And then the market preferences. The new formulations are developed as per the market preferences. The new generation formulations are designed in such a way that they can be transported and stored and used in a user friendly manner. This is the journey for gradual improvement of liquid formulations from solvent based to the water based formulations. Here we can see initially we had emulsifiable concentrate type formulations which are solvent based. Then comes the soluble liquids and oil in water emulsions, and as a latest invention we are having micro emulsions in which they are water based and the use of solvent is very minimum. This slide represents the gradual improvement from dusty formulation to dust free formulation. This is important because of the safety of the applicator, as dusty formulation poses inhalation hazard to the applicator. Therefore, as a gradual improvement, the formulations are shifted from powdery to the granular formulations. So, dusts are changed to wettable powders, then wettable powders to suspension concentrates, and then even moving further, suspension concentrates are now being replaced by the water dispersible granules. So, following are the current trends in the development of new pesticide formulations. These trends include use of safer solvents to eliminate solvents wherever possible for the development of water-based formulations. Then the replacement of wettable powders by aqueous suspension concentrates or water dispersible granules. Then development of multiple active ingredient formulations, as a particular pesticide have particular mode of action. So when we combine more than one insecticide in a particular formulation, it will act in more than one way in a particular insect, and there are less chances of the survival of insect. So combination formulations are now in trend to achieve maximum insect pest management. Then the development of better surfactants for better performance, better bioefficacy and better bioenhancement. Then the control of pesticide losses through the control of through the development of controlled release formulations, where the release rate of active ingredient is controlled through the techniques like encapsulation, etc. As we know, insecticides being highly toxic and they are generally water insoluble, therefore they are not sold in their pure form. Many of the insecticide formulations are subjected to dilution with suitable diluent like water to avoid the hazards for applicator and to achieve the maximum coverage. Another point is insecticides are commercially manufactured in various formulations like emulsifiable concentrates, water dispersible powders, dusts, etc. And all of them are having different percentage of active ingredient in them. Therefore, the strength of active ingredient is mentioned on the label of pesticide. Before application or the purchase of insecticide, one question always strike in mind of applicator, that how much amount of insecticide would be required for application on their farm of definite size, so that he could purchase only the required amount and will not spend money for the purchase of excess amount of insecticide. So for this, the basic understanding of mathematical calculations involved in the preparation of insecticide formulation solutions is important. So let's see the methods for calculating the pesticide dose with some examples. Plant protection chemists generally recommend the application of insecticides in terms of kilogram or gram of active ingredient per hectare. Therefore, the basic understanding of the relationship between percentage of active ingredient in formulation and active ingredient to be applied in field for the management of insect pests becomes very much crucial. This is very simple and one can easily determine the amount of formulation to be applied in field to provide the recommended amount of active ingredient for insect pest management. As we can see in the formula, that the quantity of insecticide formulation required per hectare can be calculated by dividing rate of application of active ingredient by percentage of active ingredient in formula, and the outcome is finally obtained and it is multiplied by the factor 100. In the example, we can see quantity of fipronil formulation per hectare is 62.5 gram of fipronil, 80% water dispersible granule. For such calculations, the type of formulation and the percentage of active ingredient in the formulation should be known to us. Similarly, when application of insecticide is recommended as percent concentration, so similarly there is formula for its mathematical calculation. The application rate of insecticide is also given in terms of percent of active ingredient at a specific volume. So the amount of pesticide required is equals to volume of spray in liter multiplied by percent strength of active ingredient in solution to be sprayed divided by the percent strength of active ingredient in the formulation. For example, amount of malathion 25% EC when required to applied at 0.025% solution in 300 liter per hectare, the outcome will come as 0.3 liter per hectare of the formulation. Then there is another way to calculate the or to prepare the percent mixture from given pesticide formulation. This is popularly known as Pearson's square method. Here, to get the required amount of insecticide and water, subtract the smaller figure from the higher ones. As given in example, we subtracted 0.05 from 0, the outcome will come as 0.05, and in another part we subtracted 35 from 0.05 and the outcome remains as 34.95. So as we see, we subtracted the figures diagonally, then put 0.05 opposite to EC at D and 39.95 opposite to water at point C. This means that to make 0.05% solution out of the endosulfan 35% EC, we require 0.05 part of endosulfan, which need to be added with 34.95 part of water. So with this I think we can understand the basic knowledge of formulation, what are the basic type of formulations, what are the basic calculations involved, and how we calculate the safe limits of pesticides. So with this we will finish this second part of this lecture.